Hey folks, I'm excited to jump into Galatians 2 on Sunday morning, and I want to invite you to join us for prayer gathering at 9 and for family groups at 9:30, and then for our worship celebration at 10:40 when we continue in our series, through the book of Galatians on a gospel of grace, and we're going to look at chapter 2 on Sunday and talk about the work of grace. We've talked about our God of grace. We've talked about the singular way of grace. We've talked about the calling of grace that God puts on our lives as we looked at this past Sunday. And so this Sunday, as we talk about the work of grace, I'm going to really challenge you to depend on the Lord for the grace to live the life that God's called you to live. That calling that we talked about last week. How do we live that way? How do we live the way that God has created us to live? Well, we need God's grace. We don't simply only need God's grace to save us. We do need His grace for that, but we also need His grace to live the lives that He's created us to live, that He's called us to live. And so we're going to talk about that work of grace on Sunday. In fact, as we go through chapter 2 together, I'm going to kind of give you three prayer requests, three grace-centered prayer requests, ways that you can pray for God's work of grace in your life. How do we have the ability to do the things that God has created us to do? Well, we need His grace. And so I think we're going to see a great lesson of that on Sunday in Galatians chapter 2. So I want to challenge you to read that ahead of time before we gather together Sunday morning and be praying for how God could use this passage of Scripture to really grow your faith and dependence in Him and in trusting in His grace for your life. So look forward to seeing you Sunday, 9:30 family groups, 10:40 worship. Looking forward to that time of fellowship together and worshiping the Lord.